Hello, everyone. Whoa, you're a lot. You're frightening. So, thank you for being here. That's our third edition. Can we have light on the room? Whoa, it's even more scary.
You are so beautiful.
For who it's the first time? Wow, a lot. Welcome, guys. Who was there last year? Who was there the two first editions? Thank you for being supportive. Nice. Really nice. So it's kind of a special year. This year is the 10th of iPhone development. So Apple released 10 years ago iPhone SDK. It was back then quite hard to develop software for smartphones. We had all those OS for mobile phones. It was a really fragmented land.
Yeah, and well, things now are much better. Well, at least I'd say, kind of.
Yeah.
And so, 10 years ago, Scott Forstall, who was the man behind native third-party apps, presented the iPhone SDK, which allowed people to create software for the iPhone OS. It was called like this at the time. And I mean, I guess nobody thought things would have been that big, because I mean, look at the room. It's even smaller than the Frenchkit. I mean, it's incredible.
And yeah, remember we went a really long way since there. At the time, when you wanted to declare a simple property, you had to write all that code, like define stuff in the .h file. Remember, we had .h files. Then synthesize the property and stuff. And now you just have to write one line of code.
Yeah,
much simpler.
Yeah, it's much simpler, more straightforward. Well, unless you want to define some access level, it gets a bit trickier. Well, but I mean.
Yeah, and also we had just one screen size. That was great.
Yeah,
like defining constraints was really easy.
Yeah, and now with storyboards and with the Xcode, you can do much stuff. Maybe a bit too much.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's
yeah,
good.
sometimes. And remember, like memory management, like you had to release manually everything. You had for IB outlets, you had to remember to set them to nil. It was really painful, but now everything is gone. And for string manipulation, that was also kind of hard. Just to actually format a string, you had to allocate the string, use kind of a weird syntax to define what you want to say. Now string interpolation really helps.
Yeah, and the same goes for numbers. I mean, just for creating a number and setting a property, you had to write 3 lines.
Yeah, boxing nightmare.
Yeah, now it's just 1 line. I mean, it's just boring. I don't like it.
But what's interesting, in my opinion, is that we had all those concepts back then. Like from day one, we had all those ideas set in place. And since then, they've been refined, they've been reworked by Apple, but all those concepts have survived a decade of evolution, new technologies, new usage, new phones. And at the end, they are still there. They are easier to use. And that's probably what we like about Apple technologies, and that's what brings us together today. And speaking of Apple technology, let's see what we have today at FrenchKit. So, for the program, we changed slightly the way we will organize the conference today and tomorrow. So we'll have talks and then a short break that you will have upstairs at the first floor, and then other talks, and then the lunchtime will also be at the first floor, and then the last session of of talks, and after that another goûter break, followed by something special for you. But yeah, probably doesn't really compile yet, but you'll see. I'm sure you're gonna like that. And tonight we'll have a party, and we'll bring back the wine and cheese. So I hope you'll like that. Thank you. Actually.
Yeah. So it's a moment to really thank our sponsors. Actually, as you know, it's those people who make this event happen and that are able to keep the price of the conference quite reasonable still. So funny enough, sponsors are more or less the same of last year. Deezer, and train line. So just don't applause yet, because we will have some minutes later this morning to present them, and so they'll be able to see, to tell you what they do and how they do it. And speaking of partnerships, this is the third year that Xebia and Cocoa Heads Paris work together to create this event. Since 2013, at Xebia, we have a vision for mobile development that relies on software quality and sharing, knowledge sharing. And we do our best to express those values through this very conference. Of course, it takes much time and much energy. It's a big investment, and that's why I really want to thank all the Xebia guys here today and at the company.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So if you want to say hello, just go upstairs, and we'll have a booth telling you what we do and how we see mobile development.
Like the best booth ever.
Best booth
Amazing
ever.
booth, yeah.
And of course, it's also time to thank all the organizers that make this possible, in particular myself, and and
Especially yourself.
especially myself. And Mathieu, Jean-Michel back there,
En régie.
say hello, and Julien, and Florian. So really, thank you very much, guys.
Just one last word before jumping to the talks. Just like what we did during the two first editions, we have a hashtag where you can publish a tweet with questions during the talks. So if you have questions that pops in your mind during the presentation that you see, just send them to this hashtag, and then we'll try to find the best questions and ask them to the speakers after their talks. So remember this hashtag, and please be creative, send them nice questions that will help and that will be interesting.
And an emoji.
And emojis, yeah.
And
that's it.
next speaker.
So yeah.
I have a question for the audience. Who has got an iPhone X? Or 10, sorry. I'm really sorry. So many people, awesome. So, in the iPhone 10, you have Face ID, and that Face ID is possible thanks to a company, which is a French company, actually. It's a company from Calvados, and a very small place. And we have here one of those...
beautiful place.
Yeah, very beautiful place. I mean, I'm Italian, I'm not supposed to say that, but it's a beautiful place. Anyway, and we have here one of the people who made this happen, and that made you people have the Face ID on your phone. And so please welcome Vincent Leroux.